Courteous viewers, in the previous episode, Father Chris Golding talked about the spiritual aspect of veganism in Christianity, as well as his own vegan journey. Let's continue with his loving explanation as to why he believes that the Lord Jesus Christ is the ultimate symbol of a peace-filled life.
We certainly look very strongly to the teachings of Jesus about what he said, and particularly what he didn't say, and particularly the way he imagines his life and his offering of his life. He doesn't come back in the sense to wage war against the religious or political authorities. He comes back, Christians believe, from the dead and cooks a meal with his friends. He doesn't come back seeking a violent retribution, but comes back in love and in peace. And so for me, Jesus is the ultimate symbol of a peace-filled life, and someone who was very radical in the way that he challenged the status quo of cultural and religious norms.
Putting Lord Jesus Christ's teachings of love and peace into action, Father Golding shares with us about the guiding role a spiritual leader can have in leading the community on the path of compassionate living.
I really believe in, as a priest and a pastor, about building relationships and accompanying people wherever they are. It would be amiss of me, arrogant of me, to walk in and say, you must do this. You are not meeting my expectations, for example. So I mentioned reductionism, for example, and I invite people to say, hey, how about taking on the growing global movement of meatless Mondays? How about you do it throughout Lent? How about you take a whole month and just try it out? So this idea of reductionism, I think, is a great first step. And so, I think a compassionate response for animals and the earth needs to start with compassion for one another. And so this idea of having a companion in this journey, having someone who has considered the impact on the world and themselves, and someone who is somewhat a leader in the community and working with different people every day. Hopefully, it inspires them to say, hey, this is not a radical thing. People used to hear vegan and they think, oh, this is some sort of reactionary. That's not my approach at all. It's very peace-filled, it's very gentle, it's very compassionate. And, I'd like people at least to know some of this language. You can be a reductionist. Maybe then you could move to being a vegetarian. And maybe then you could become a vegan.
Father Chris Golding is the creator of the website veganpriest.org, where he uses this platform to spread the teachings of veganism in religion, God's love, Lord Jesus Christ's compassionate teachings, and promotes the importance of doing charitable works. This has also led to opportunities to engage with like-minded spiritual leaders around the world, which he shares with us now.
I've had a chance to write other blog pieces, and people have found me through that. And I've connected with other vegan priests. There's a vegan priest in Europe who I found on Instagram, and we've been able to chat, and she comes from a different tradition to me. I'm following a vegan rabbi on Facebook right now and intrigued. They go by vegan rabbi. And so just sort of intrigued by the way this opens up conversations and hopefully sort of normalizes the idea of our role, even though it often maybe speaks to sort of tradition and the status quo. The priestly role can be prophetic in the sense that it can speak to something aspirational and hope-filled for the future.
deep down, Father Golding has an unwavering faith and a beautiful vision for a new vegan world that is soon to come.
My hope is that vegetarianism and veganism continues to increase. I think we are seeing the percentage of people taking on that lifestyle and making that choice is increasing. I'm hopeful that people will realize and understand that this is a compassionate choice, not just for animals and creatures themselves, but for the global challenges of climate change and global warming. This is one concrete way that we can make a difference. Each and every time we eat, we know that our choice is making a real impact. And that's really easy to do. And over time, it becomes so much a part of yourself that you can't imagine any other way of being. And so I would like to hope that despite any hesitancy that people have, to know that they can start small, they can give up meat one day a week, they can start giving it up then once, 1 month a year, and just go from there, that this is not this great mountain that they have to climb, and that they will see lived impacts in their own life. They will feel healthier, they will know they're contributing to a healthier environment as well. So I'm very hopeful for the future. I know there's many people out there doing amazing work and advocating that this is a compassionate choice for the world and for themselves.
As a closing note, Father Golding shares his thoughts on Supreme Master Ching Hai's call for a vegan world.
Thank you. I think they're profound words. They're said in a very direct and straightforward way, which I do hope that people understand that there's a reason culturally why we call animals and the product that comes from animals a different name. We use these words like steak and bacon and so on as a way of distancing ourselves from the inherent violence that comes from that product. And we do it so easily, it just sort of rolls off our tongue. But if we stop and think about it, for example, bacon points to a living being, a pig that had a mother, that was born, that had an opportunity to thrive, that maybe lived in very cramped and harsh conditions, that maybe was removed from their parent at an age which caused them real grief. And as we know more and more about the emotion and the feeling that animals themselves have, that they are not just checked out, that they have their own sense of an internal life, that they feel pain, that they are much more like us than we might imagine. I think these words call us to realize that, and to know that simply by making a personal choice, we can alleviate that harm, we can alleviate that suffering. And in a broader term, we can also have a positive impact for the environment as well. There's no losing here. There's only winning. There's only opportunity for hope and for joy.
We sincerely thank the Reverend Father Chris Golding for sharing his wisdom about the connection between compassionate living and Christianity. May people of all religions join in to create an elevated vegan world filled with love, peace, and harmony for all beings. For more information, please visit veganpriest.org.